Right, welcome to this session of the International Communal Studies Association 2024 conference. We have now a session about education as a way of building a future, building the Communal Academy for the New World as an educational bridge and transitioning to the next level humanity. And my name is Jan Martin Bang. I am part of the organizing team for this conference. I'm speaking to you from Norway, where it's a mild -15 right now, which is much better than last week when it was 25. And I would like to welcome in Muhammad Ali, who's a social scientist and a community educator, working to establish a village of light. And he will be speaking to us, I think, from Finland. At least that's where he's based. And he wants to bring together conscious educators to create a new Earth life. And I am wonderfully reminded of a community that we heard about in the last session called The Farm, who used to, maybe they still do, drive around in buses, and on the front of the bus, it says in big letters, "Out to change the world," which I always loved to see that. I just wanted to also introduce Dan, who is one of the organizing team also, and he is going to make sure that all the Zoom technical details run smoothly. So thank you, Dan, for that. So Muhammad Ali, I hand over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Jan and Dan. So we are here, 3 people from our team today. We were originally supposed to be 5, but 2 members are missing, but we will just make do with whom we have. So I'm thinking we should start by introducing ourselves, the panelists, so who would like to start? Mikko or Katja?
I can start, it's okay. Yeah. And should I just introduce myself or also the project that we are doing? What were you thinking?
You can
Yeah, maybe we just tell something about ourselves, about our background, who we are, and why we're here.
Okay, so it kind of everything interlinks to the whole situation. So, okay, my name is Mikko Räntilä, and we have founded with my spouse a company called Good Life School, and maybe it's a good idea that I share screen and show some things that we have created. And one thing, one part of that is something that could support greatly the project that Muhammad Ali has founded, and possibly also other learning communities and other communities and learning related actors in the world. So if I try to share the screen, let's see just a moment. Yeah, do you see now the background?
Very good.
Okay, great. So this is actually the place where our story started. It's in North Karelia. It was an old school, and we renovated it as a like community center and place for accommodations and retreats, happenings, events, and so on. And it offers that kind of facilities. and the main thing that it does is act as our headquarters for the other projects. And we wanted to make it quite personal and had some artistic touch. You can check more from our website, which is the wonderia.shop for it. And let's see if I can change this. Yes, just a moment here. So what we have created is a platform that supports co-creation, co-learning, and coming together of different communities. And we wanted to include both digital learning, live learning, and different approaches to do that, and also the social network that can bind people and groups together. So it has all these facilities, and also it offers the place to monetize it and offer the services to other parties who want to purchase, let's say, web courses or participate in events and so on. So that's shortly it. I can show a glimpse of it. So maybe it's better that I back kind of my part here quite in dense, so other people can then facilitate more and tell more about their parts. So it provides a course platform that has different courses that people can participate. It offers also discussion groups and video talks and that kind of sessions that we now do, news feed and these kinds of social wall that's pretty familiar to most people. And the wonderia.shop part is the marketplace where all these services can be offered further to everybody who's interested in taking part. And for example, here is Uudenajan Koulu, which is the new era school, which offers like the preliminary and first grades learning possibility for the Finnish school system, but done in different way. And that's maybe one more person who will show about it later. And here we provide more information about it, and we want to keep the pricing very low, so it's not a problem for any community to join and get all the tools to benefit them for those. So maybe I stop the sharing here. And yes, and we've been developing this platform about 3 years, and we would like it to be even more social co-creating platform also, so that we are not the only creators of it, that we want to invite other communities and people who want to also participate in the technical developments and possibly bring new possibilities together. So we are very open for new opportunities in this. So this is shortly what I would say now. Thank you.
So will you be sharing more about this Wonderia later in the panel?
Yes, I can. If there are further questions and further talks, so we can go deeper. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And okay, what about Katja? Are you there?
I am here. Okay. Hello to everybody. First of all, forgive me my English. It have been a rough day, and I tried to transform my mind on the different settings. Just stop me if you don't understand me. My thing here is the humanity. How to be heard, seen, understood. How to learn more, how to use what you know already, and how to find your life task in this quite crazy environment where we are. I'm now 50. I have a happy son. He's now 21, living in Germany. I'm in Finland. I'm happy that he's independent. He wanted to go out. And it's not that clear that he was able, so that's why I'm talking about it. I come from this dark side, like you can see. Everybody else of you, you have so much light. I come from the dark. So my background is working with people with depression and stress, and that's actually what I'm doing still. I'm the depressed mom. So my son is now happy. He's 21. He have learned a lot. He's doing his passion in the world. So I have succeeded, at least with one person in this world. So I'm taking people in when they have problems with their mental health. They come from the system, from doctors, with medication. And when they come to me, we try to find the light for their life. And what it means that people want to find a new kind of life. So I'm also on the bridge, like we are now in this project with Ali. I'm the bridge from this quite traditional way of thinking about human life and helping people to transform here on the side where the light, you can see a little bit it behind me and the side. So this is for now. I'm going to tell you more about the thing that I'm doing and how I'm involved with this wonderful other Finnish people. But I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to see you all. Connecting and physical connection with people is my thing. This is a little bit difficult for me because I try to reach you and I can't. I'm not used to this. I'm used to working with people eye to eye. But I do my best. I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Katja. Yeah, I don't really know about your past much, but I sure hope you have gotten over your depression by now. Anyway, we're all here to support each other, so thank you for being with us. As for me, I am Muhammad Ali, but I just prefer to be called Ali in short. Yeah, so I actually have an academic background in the social sciences, where I was studying spiritual information, how it's sought and why is it needed and how it benefits people. But that's in my past. I don't do research anymore. So I have been going through a kind of profound shift in my life from being highly, you could say, analytic and critical person into an open-minded, intuitive, spiritual person. And with that, there has been a shift from research and teaching to more of becoming a community developer and a kind of mentor or coach, but not in an official sense. And yeah, so I have been experimenting with different kinds of communities, starting from sustainable development network, and then from there going on to establish a physical, like a residential community in a few places. Those are just being like small trials, and I have so far I have not been able to establish a working community that would actually be sustainable in some sense, like having its own physical space and activities and a lot of people. But these have been very like big learning opportunities for me. My experiments with different kinds of community things, and so it has become quite evident to me that that sustainable development as such is not something that will actually create new earth communities, but we have to dig deeper into the human soul to find the true foundation for creating something lasting. And yeah, so last year we came up with this Academy for New World here in Finland. And I guess it's time to go into this topic now. So what is the Academy for New World, and why do we need it? Yeah, so it started with my experiments with training or coaching people, and finding kindred spirits who are doing their own educational projects or activities with people to create something really new to bring us closer to the next level humanity. And so by next level humanity, I mean that at least the way I see it, the current civilization is on the brink of collapse. It has become unsustainable, and it may be because it's designed that way. And exactly because it's really ego based in the end. So there's greed and exploitation, fear mongering, so many things which stem from human ego, and anything that is ego driven cannot be sustainable in the long run. So About 10 years ago, I realized that, which was actually quite early on in the process of community creation, I realized that that pursuing sustainable development, like these ecological goals, economic sustainability, social sustainability, they are more of a kind of in a way they are the surface phenomena, like it's like the iceberg. We can see the tip of the iceberg, but the real solution hides in our mind, in our consciousness. And so this is the area which I've been pursuing for the last 10 years at least, a little more than 10 years. How to connect human development, our inner growth, to community development. So now this initiative or project of Academy for New Earth, its purpose is to create a pedagogic or educational bridge that will take people who are ready for it from the old world into the new. And at the fundamental level, it's a shift in consciousness, but of course it involves the whole spectrum of human experience and activities. We don't have any organization per se as yet. It's just a network of people, educators, organizations, people who are interested in developing. It's really, in a way, it's the next level educational system in Finland or internationally. We're starting from Finland, but it can become an international phenomenon if people are interested. So because the current educational system is actually it's made to put it bluntly, to create slaves for the system. So we want to change all that. So the Academy for New World is meant to liberate people to access their full potential and thereby let them be able to manifest their deepest dreams, their soul purpose, and also create the communities that will be the social basis for the next civilization. Because I believe this current Sikh society will not last for long, and the next higher level society will be based on communities, smaller groups of people everywhere, spreading all over the countries. So this is what our vision is. And so we have some educational programs running, and some of them have already been carried out earlier, and they have stopped, but they can be revived. And then we have some new initiatives coming up. So yeah, what else can I say at this point? At the end of this panel discussion, there will be free-for-all discussion opportunity for everyone to ask questions and state their comments. Yeah, maybe for now I rest my case, and we can go forward. Or maybe at this point I show you a graph I just made today in haste. So yeah, this one. Okay, so one way to visualize the Academy for New World is a tree of life, which is here embedded in a flower of life, I think. It's not supposed to, I mean, it's not complete, obviously, yet. But so this graph is just giving examples of what we have now or what we are working on currently. So if I zoom it a little bit. So we can go through these educational initiatives or operations from bottom to up, top. And so the rationale here is that if we think about this as a bridge, so the old world of materialism is falling behind at the bottom of the screen, and at the top of the screen is the higher realms of existence, which we don't even know about yet. But then there are these boxes in the tree of life, and each box represents one of our activities, which we will talk about today. One important thing I forgot to mention, that so this Academy for New World, it's meant to be a project, a joint project of different communities. So it's not really my project, although I have been the originator of it, I guess. It's supposed to bring together different communities so that they can pull together their wisdom and their knowledge, their know-how, and also Academy for New World is it's meant to be a learning community in its own right. So connecting people from different communities, different walks of life, anyone who wants to shift to the next phase of human evolution, they are welcome to join us. Yeah. So maybe we start now with Wonderia, which is the kind of base platform which we can use in this academy. So, Mikko, would you like to step forward and tell us more about Wonderia?
Yes, I can. And is there some special aspects that you would like to be shown more or deeper? What comes into your mind?
I think maybe the most interesting parts would be the educational aspect and the community aspects in this context.
Okay. So maybe it's relevant that I share now the screen again. So
Yeah.
maybe it gives better understanding than me just talking here. So our inspiration for creating the platform has been bringing the communities together and the co-creators together to create the communities. So it could be like the I don't want to use meta because it's been a curse word for some years now, but like a place, home for communities that can come together and co-work to benefit each other and share the information they have. And for that purpose, we have included the course platform. And like we see here, there are already quite a few courses, but in digital realm, the space is unlimited, so it can be anything that's beneficial for humanity and for conscious human being and development, and also the spiritual development. So the course platform itself is pretty simple to use, and I think the learning curve to make a basic course is quite short. But of course, there's lots of pedagogical things and so on for the course creator to study and learn more to create as good courses as possible. And what I find very interesting is that for communities, what are the needs that each community needs? I just jumped in the previous session, and there were like 5 things, kitchen and other things that each community have. But also there's layer of more mental needs and more sophisticated needs for each community. They need to change the information. They need to share the information, and they need to develop and evolve the information they have. And every community runs on the information. And that's the core. And without it, the community is not going to flourish. So having the information that can be developed further and further is probably the most important thing for communities to flourish. And the course platform, documentation, and different groups where people can discuss and share ideas, whether it's open or whether it's closed or even secret. Maybe some things need secrecy where people can trust each other. Like, for example, in some Katja's kind of situation where people have some mental challenges and they don't want to share those things openly to anybody. So it allows that kind of situations also. Yeah, I think communities and learning, they go hand in hand in the future, and it's beginning kind of new kind of evolution and revolution of communities to become more conscious. And I have the feeling that communities will be the let's say the unit that drives the change in the world in the coming decades and maybe further. So, and that we want to include all the basic and more further advanced tools that communities need to flourish, and provide a meta model how to run a good community, so each community can easily upgrade their functionality, and it will benefit also the communities, but the learning practices and everything related, and it will allow to each person that's participating to community to give also their service to the community and also outside the community, whether you are healer or caretaker or whatever it is the profession or your skill set that you want to share to the world. And yeah, that's been the biggest inspiration. And also like Mohammed says, that I agree totally that the world is now in big turmoil and change process, and lots of unfunctional structures will fall, and we need to build new structures that can come instead of those, let's say, health, education, and those kind of things. And this phenomena is now heavily going forward, and it needs a base where it can act and function effectively. And that's been the calling to create Wonderia for such a tool. But I would like to invite more people to join in the process of creating Wonderia further to the next stages and levels, because not just few people can have all the skill set and resources that the world needs. Would that answer, Mohammed, at least partially your question?
Yeah, thanks. At least partially. Maybe I don't know, if you could show us something concrete, to get some more detailed understanding of what these things mean for communities or educators. Do you have some examples, good examples on Wonderia?
Okay, I haven't prepared a demo. We've been actually now 3 months now on holiday. I'm currently, it's 1 in the night, and we are currently in Thailand, in Koh Tao, and not in Finland now. So I don't have like good demo set to show you, but shortly to list possibilities that people can, how people can use Wonderia. There's video discussion platform, so the groups can have video talks like we have in Zoom, but more privacy, not the big tech company-based system. So it allows things to be shared more trusted to each other than the big tech companies, which, like everybody knows, spy everybody all the time. And then there is the groups that people can use. So let's say Mohammed want to create some group for these people that are now meeting here to make like international community, learning community project. He can make it and continue the discussion in this group, and further develop things there. Then when you want to introduce a new community, or make a like base model for new communities, you can create that as a web course model. So each community builder can utilize this information in their projects. Maybe those would be some concrete projects, and let's say you would be a healer or some physicist or physiotherapist. You can offer your services to the communities live or virtually, or have virtual sessions. So let's say I'm some specialist healer. I can do it remotely from this kind of screen and have sessions remotely with persons. Or Katja could utilize it with this kind of meeting with some persons that are not possible to come face-to-face meeting. For example, this come in mind now. But I'm happy to answer questions, and if there are some ideas for further development, I'm happy to check that further also. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's great. It sounds very promising. All right, then what do we have next? Okay, so Lena was supposed to present New Era School, but she's not here.
Sorry, Mohammed. Maybe I could comment about Lena, because Lena has created the New Era School, which is building the based on, or it's, let's say it's based on Finnish curriculum, the Finnish schooling system, but in more open and free form system in Wonderia, the web courses, and I hope that it could widen so that it continues the whole until college, and even to university levels courses would be included later on different subjects. So it could be a place for lifelong learning on multitude of areas.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, well, I just wish Lena was here to tell us more, but anyway, thanks for filling in. And then Jukka was supposed to be here also. He has created this integral free schooling operation. So I don't know about that so much either, but except that it's for little older students, like high school age kids, I think. And there the idea is to, it's like it's project-based learning. So all the learning happens through creating projects and then carrying them out. And that has produced some amazing results. So maybe later Jukka can tell us more about that. Okay, so we are now up to Humanhood Academy with Katja. So now it's your turn, please.
Okay, thank you. Some new faces. Nice to see you there. Gracie needed to go, and she's waiting for the recording. So hi to you, and please contact me if this depression team is still on your heart, because this is like my life and passion. So I'm from the happiest country of the world. They are saying that the education in Finland, it's extremely good. And obviously it is. We just want to upgrade it still. We have extremely good social system, healthcare system, and all of those need to be upgraded. And that's like my life task. Like I told, I'm now 50 years old. I started my first community about 45 years ago. and I failed badly because I was extremely bossy and needy and selfish. Because my task was to get all of the kids in our neighborhood to clean my yard and the small house in the yard where I was playing. And I thought it was right. They didn't agree. So that failed. I continued about 20 years of building different kind of communities. Every time I did a little bit better, and every time I still failed. At least they failed on the moment when I left. And just on later years, I understood that we still need some kind of structures in this world. I'm an engineer, and I have worked now over 20 years in social and healthcare inside of the Finnish system and outside of that as a freelancer. And the only thing that is left in me about being engineer is the understanding of structure. And in other ways, I'm more spiritual nowadays, more thinking of bigger pictures than the small details. And still what I know is that when we work with people, we still need to start from the details, the small details. So I learned quite a lot of those fails of making communities. I learned on a hard way that a lot of people still need to go through some kind of change in their life, in their behavior. I was very capable of doing the work that I was exposed to do, but the problems comes in relationships with people and and going through our emotions. So nowadays what we are talking about the balance of being and doing. And you have to practice them both to be able to do something new. So I started in a mental health care trying to figure out new ways to help depressed people. And where we ended up is lifelong learning, because this is a process and it's ongoing and there is no limits on that. So that's why I'm very happy to be and cooperate with Ali and Mikko and that kind of people who are understanding the same, that actually it's all about learning, it's all about education and schooling, and it's called life in the end. So we start from the health of the people. We ended up in education. Then we needed to start think about new work for the people, because they didn't want to go back on the ways and the places where they were before when we started to help them. And then they all wanted to have new life. So that ended up on the situation that I have been doing this work now for 20 years. We started in 2004, and we had a lot of people and a lot of communities doing this with us. We tried to figure out new ways of doing things. And on that time, we were talking about mental health care, social services, new kind of ways of go back to work life. And nowadays, we are more talk about spirituality and growing as a human being and lifelong learning. But 20 years ago, yeah, we tried to make better mental health care services in Finland. 10 years ago, we started our own community, because not all of the people wanted to live in the way anymore like they wanted. They didn't want to go back in their old life when they started to feel better. There was a lot of, unfortunately, divorces, a lot of breakups in the families when somebody wanted to change their life and the other ones didn't want that to happen. So it started in the way that people have started to move together, start a different kind of community living, finding new kind of place of building their work life. So we started our own community 10 years ago. 8 years ago, we started our first training and well-being center, like outside of the system where I was working before. Like Finnish government was funding my work from year 2004. And then 10 years ago, we separated from that. We left the money and we just started to do things in our own way to be more free, like Ali was talking. That's not so much analytic anymore, really wanted to go on their own path, building a new kind of life, building a new kind of communities. So we started to do that then. So 8 years ago, we opened the Training and Wellbeing Center, the first one, in our own names. 6 years ago, we opened our Wellbeing Village. And 1 year ago, we started Humanhood Academy. So in every year, we have just gone further and further in education. And we are using the structure, tools, the ways of working with your behavior. And we are teaching new kind of working habits for people. And that is like the bridge that we are using from people from the quite dark background to start building up their life in new kind of lighter way. And I think we're still gonna continue, we're gonna go forward. There is gonna be new courses, new ways of going. I think next it's gonna be, now we have village, next we wanna have town, maybe someday we want to have our own country, because we just want to grow and grow and give these possibilities for people. And when this cooperation is a little bit further, we're gonna get some new courses, new chances for people from there. So I'm very happy that these different parts in Finland have brought people in the same way. Now we are on the same highway, and little by little we are changing the whole education system because we really need it. Even though my work started to build this for people with depression, it have grown and grown and grown, and now it's more like this kind of bone structure for people's life. It doesn't matter how you make the change and what kind of courses you go. Our tool is called Kasvava, which means the growing one. And it's more like a structure just to keep your life in balance while you are taking the courses and while you are changing your life and you are learning new things and you are trying to keep the balance. Because sometimes the change that makes us like crazy, and it feels like mental problem, but it isn't. It's just the unbalance in your life. So we try to help people to keep the balance, even though the boat is all the time a little bit rocking, because that's how life is. Yeah. For some reason, and for some good reason, today my introduction was like this. I'm gonna leave all the pages and contact info that Gracie can find me afterwards, because unfortunately she needed to go, because she just wrote there in the chat that in her hometown, there is a lot of depressed people. Not there where she lives now, but in the hometown. And wherever I travel in the world, I have the magnet that the people who are feeling bad and are in the dark, they contact me. And I want to take them to light. So depression is already a spot where you are in the school. It's a good spot. So we just continue from there with people. Okay, thank you for now.
Thanks, Katja. That was very inspirational. And I'm impressed how you have been able to combine community living with working on human spirit and psyche. So congratulations. Okay, so finally I'll be telling you a little bit about Game of God. So is there anyone who has never imagined to be God or played God in their life, even as a kid or whenever? It actually it came to me spontaneously one day when I was living in one of the communities. I was developing a spiritual community. And there was a day when I really felt like a god. I could do absolutely anything. Anything was possible for me. Like there were no limits, and so I had some kind of superpower. Yeah, well, that lasted just for one day. It was years ago, but now, well, I guess it was some kind of a seed to start a new kind of consciousness development program. So, well, that's what this Game of God really is about. It's not really a game in a traditional sense that you compete with others. It's more about facing your own ego and trying to, or letting yourself overcome any inner obstacle that you may have in your mind. So so the basic idea is to well, first of all, reach a state of pure consciousness. Can be called a state of enlightenment also. Actually, there's one community leader in Mexico, James Twyman, and they have this Namaste village, and he said enlightenment just means that you are filled with light. But anyway, in this Game of God, we experiment with the different qualities of the divine. For example, love or mercy, peace, power, whatever it may be. Because, well, for me, we are deep down, we are divine beings. We are part of God, the universe, or the source, the one consciousness, whatever you may call it. So in this Game of God, which I'm actually developing now with a friend, and we're getting a third member in the team soon. So we all bring to the table, to this game, some element which is like our thing, our piece in the puzzle. And my piece is the process of how to basically become enlightened the steps, or yeah, I guess you can call them steps, but yeah, so it's all about, well, the core of this game is to remain as present as possible at any given moment, because the world outside that's the kind of playing field which all the time feeds us with input, like reflections of how we are doing internally. So our job in a way is to remain right here, right now, collect our consciousness in one singular point, because that's where our power lies. So the current society is a kind of a distraction machine. Actually, it's disrupting and even you could say destroying our consciousness, and we are doing the opposite, where we are collecting our whole being as one. So yeah, so this is to be God, to be return to our divinity is, as is said by many spiritual masters, it's the only thing that is really worth pursuing in life. And because that's the only thing that lasts after this 3D experience. We cannot take anything with us except our consciousness. So my tenet is that in building communities, if we want to create as sustainable, as resilient, as thriving communities as possible, then what we should do is to discover our divine essence, because that's what that is what actually integrates our ego into our consciousness, in our heart. So that's the only way to get rid of ego, is to go through the heart and, well, through love, alchemize it to become a useful part of us rather than dysfunctional. Yeah, so this is what we are experimenting on and developing right now. It's a work in progress. We don't have anything public yet, but right now I feel this is the best thing I can do with my life. So yeah, thanks. And now we could, I hope our panelists are still, oh, Mikko is also there, great, I'm glad. No one has left us yet. So we could talk about this whole Academy for New World, how we have experienced it as a process. How, I mean, we as co-creators of this new network in Finland, and what have been particular challenges, and what are the opportunities that await us through this communal work together. So which one of you would like to start? We have 10 minutes left, so let's be brief before the open discussion.
If anybody wants to say something, also they could write in on the chat, and I'll keep an eye on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Yeah, building up communities. Like I noticed when I was a small girl, that if you are bossy and you behave badly, it's not going to be a good community. And when we are working with people, we have our ways of behaving. And even though we might have a very balanced moment when we are starting working together, some change comes to somebody's life and we start to react. And then there comes the chaos again. So that's why we were talking about this bridge, that we need the education to be the bridge to get there, that we are able to play the game of the God. Thank you, Ali, of that. I heard first time and that was brilliant, because that is the thing. When we find the balance with ourselves, then we can actually start building up things together and they are sustainable. As long as we are in a huge processes of ours and in a change, it's not very balanced. And then we need the structures, what I have learned. I wanted to just put people together, be with people and do something new. And I noticed many times that it's not happening in that way. We start, we fall, and so on. So I have noticed that my goodwill, loving feeling, and a lot of hugs didn't work by themselves. I also needed some other things for it. So it's not so easy to build up new and make it on the way that it will last.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thanks. Mikko, would you like to say something about this topic?
Maybe something related to what's happening, what I saw happening last year in Finland, because now thousands and thousands of people have come more together, building organically that kind of networks, but it's still like in early stages of forming to some kind of new structure, and it needs building blocks, it needs the base where it can build and flourish, and then it can come the community force that can drive big change in our society. But it needs the basis, the structures, like Katja said, the engineer part that's needed for the higher goals to come reality, because otherwise we trample on each other on social things, come reactive, so on. And I believe most of communities have crashed because of very personal social disbalances or inability to solve problems or challenges. So it's a very important part of creating this flourishing new world. Maybe it would be good to open the stage if there are questions. I would like to also to get to the bed because it's getting 2 in the night here. And yeah, and tomorrow is also morning. Would that be okay, or do you have something else you want to?
Yeah. I just wanted to comment on both of your what you said just now. So yeah, I heard the word organic growth or something. And yeah, that's been really something that has stood out for me in recent months, to be as organic as possible. And I don't mean just ecologically organic, but socially organic, economically organic, spiritually organic in every way, which means that we are like surfing on the waves of life as co-creators, and we don't resist the flow. We go with the flow and gain tremendous power through that. So in my own experience, creating structures in many cases has been, well, it has been interesting. I have had some interesting like learning opportunities through that, but then maybe the biggest lesson has been for me that structures that we create should not be, I mean, they should not come, they should not be something that come from top down, you know, which is something that is imposed on people. And I'm not talking about any particular case here. I'm just reflecting my own experiences. So so when we want to create structures like communities or community structures, yeah, it should happen when people are ready for it, when it happens naturally. That's what organic means, natural, like following the natural law. And that means there's a right time for everything, and we can recognize when the time is right for, or ripe for things to manifest. So when people are ready to create a community or create a certain structure, then it's time to co-create it, not just create, but co-create it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But I think now it's really time to open up the floor for open discussion. So do we have anything in the chat, or
If anybody wants to say something, they can analog by holding their hands up, or you can also hit the reaction button below, and there's a digital hands up as well. So this is great technology. So the floor is open.
yes, please.
Marianne, was that you waving at us, or no? Well, while we're waiting for somebody, I do have one short question. Ali, when you showed us the chart that you'd made, I was reminded of a similar work by Ken Wilber called Integral Theory, and I wondered if you linked to that in any way. If you could say something about that.
I can just say that I'm aware of the integral theory, but I don't really know it. So I've just seen some, some graphs about the different segments there, but I have never read anything really from Ken Wilber. This particular graph, which I can show it again, which I made today.
Go on.
Yeah, so this is just something because I was looking for an image of the tree of life, and then this came up, and so there's this, I think it's from Kabbalah, this 10-point tree of life here within a flower of life. So maybe there's something to study here further to find connections with other theories, models.
Okay, we have somebody who's raised their hand. Dan, is that you?
Yeah, I was just going to pick up on that, Ali. Do you anticipate filling out the other 5 dots in the tree of life? And if so, what would they be?
Yeah, that's a good question, because well, obviously I haven't thought this through very much, because I just made this literally like 2 or 3 hours ago. So but anyway, there are these 10 circles. If we continue using this or start using this image, then I think each circle here represents one of these educational paths or stages. Like from more mundane to the more spiritual. So these empty circles represent like empty slots, which need to be fulfilled. I'm not sure about the number of these steps actually, but anyway, the point is just to show you that it's not complete by any means. So, for example, there probably should be some vocational or professional education or learning environments here, maybe at the mid-level or something. Yeah, so it's just a first try at bringing these different things together. Yeah, thanks for asking. Anyone else?
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I don't know if you can see me on camera because I am on my mobile. I have some IT problems. I'm a bit curious about the need of having some kind of like the hierarchy in a way, because I'm thinking in some. I'm just asking because in the community maybe you have a need for setting a direction. Maybe you want to fulfill a goal. Maybe you want to go ahead somewhere, you had some plans. How would one do it in practice in an organic way? Because there's so many people in the community and they all have different jobs or different tasks. And it's just like the body has a brain and the body has a control center in the head, which helps out to do, so the body will actually do the movements you want the body to do. And I'm just wondering, how could one do that in practice? Since I believe that when there is an organic growth, as they explained that is happening in Finland, wouldn't there be necessary to have some kind of direction and someone has to sort of have some kind of overall view of that? It doesn't have to mean that they're deciding everything, but they might have a role. Maybe some of you from Finland can say something about that, because I'm a bit curious about how you can sort of set a direction, because maybe that is also something people need, because there's so many people wanting a change. But if we all tend to be one big group of people wanting a change, it doesn't help, because we have to discuss what the change will be and we have to discuss how to get there, and then we will have different tasks. So it's just an open question. I don't know if anyone else has some thoughts or ideas about that.
Would Katja or Mikko like to say something?
what comes into my mind is that that kind of, let's talk about like herd intellectuality, that self-organizing system where there are different needs and different roles that have to be filled for it to be effective and able to function effectively. And that kind of development organically, if there's no vision on people's mind already that we need that kind of thing, it's quite improbable to happen very effectively. But in case there is some system which allows people to communicate and make votes or whatever tools are needed, it could help to promote that kind of development and make it more successful and faster, and maybe also wiser.
We have like now it's a little bit difficult and my English comes on the way, so try to bear with me. So we have a little bit like lined our organization, our community, because we have so many things to do and so many parts in that. So I rather talk nowadays about the spiritual hierarchy than in an organized level, because of course there are differences with our skills, mental skills and the physical skills what we are doing. So in our community, responsibilities goes after your skills. And you are responsible of your own things, and you can make decisions by that. And the hierarchy is more of in a spiritual way, that who have been longer there knows probably more about that and is called for help if there is a help. We don't have positions that stays. They are changing all the time because it's based on the work or the project that we are doing, who's running this project, who's leading this one, who has the higher knowledge of this. And because we are not working, our task is all the time get rid of the ego, get rid of the need of power and being on charge. It's more like willingness. I'm willing to lead this. I'm willing to take responsibility of this. But like the whole structure that we are using in our work, that we are using still, because not all of the things still goes on organically. They are not going on that way, and we people are still having the ego sometimes comes there, and there comes these things. So honestly, we still have some kind of leading system. Unless we need it, it's better. But if it's needed, of course, it's need to be used, because we are responsible of money, we are responsible of a lot of buildings, we are responsible of people's living. So, of course, we also need to take care of that. And that is also like we are constantly balancing with that, not using any force over anybody, but still holding on the things when we are going forward. I'm so much waiting for the time when we are living in the world where all of us is playing the game of God, where everybody is pure and in light and not using a wrong kind of force over other people. We are not there yet. Quite. So we little bit need to use these old methods and trying to go on the new one. And I'm extremely happy that in our community in 20 years, there have been only very little situations where we have needed to step in and do something to save something in our doings, like that we have been losing money or something because of some bad decisions. But this is a between way of living in this moment. I would be so happy to be able to leave all these old ways behind, but it's not always possible. But as much as it is, I'd love to live totally organic, like what Ali is talking now, and in my personal and private life, I can do it. But when we talk about the community and the whole organizations, it's not always that much possible. I'm as much present as I can, and sometimes I need to worry a little bit about the tomorrow's things, or organize something, or make some schedules, or use some kind of structure in the way that we can't always wait for it to grow from inside in every situations. And also, of course, because 20 years ago, all of our structures were built from bottom up when people were building it. And nowadays, some of the people are just coming into already, like the system which is already there. And not everything is in changing all the time, because people have built it already and we have found it good. So that was a good question, and I would like to have a peer group to think about this issue with me every day, because it's constantly here when trying to live this kind of in an environment which is in some ways new between all these old things. Immediately when I go outside of our village, I have to start operating with hierarchies, and they need to have some name, and they need to have some person, they need to have some number. So we are using those as a tools also when we are working for outside. I don't know, this was, because this is a huge topic. There isn't any simple answer for it, in our way at least, like what we have learned in 20 years.
Okay, thank you, Katja. We only have 2 minutes left of our session now. So it's good to end on a big topic. It's good to end with a big question. Ali, I don't know if you want to wind up the session.
Actually, there was a question in chat from Hugh Perry. I would like to share the model we used. Who would I contact?
Yeah, so maybe you could write in your contact information on the chat, and then Hugh, you can pick it up from there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
thanks, I
contact
got
me.
it. Yeah.
You can contact me. I
said it.
shared the. If you scroll up in the chat to this panel program, you can find our email addresses there. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so yeah, it's been a really good talk today. Thank you to everyone who participated, even just listening. So yeah, it's a big topic, this learning in general, and the learning, the shift that is happening in learning, which means becoming more organic and more consciousness based, more community based. So I'm really looking forward to the next conference and all the new contacts which we'll hopefully get from this to carry on the work together. And yeah, I just hope we brought something new to the discussion in the conference. And yeah, so let's carry on from here.
Thank you very much, Ali. You certainly did bring something new, and we really appreciated that. And I'm glad you reminded us that we can meet again in a year and a half. keep your eyes on the ICSA website for more news of the July 2025 Lisbon conference. Thank you, everybody, for participating, and we will end the recording now.